Hi, this is DT's Premiere. TD made simple. Like, share, and subscribe.
So today we're going to work on our gable roof. Alright, so some of us would have started this in class, some of us did not get to begin due to whatever reason, whether it be the internet or not having access to AutoCAD at the time. Alright, because of that, I'm going to show you the prior requirements or settings to get this roof done. So I'm going to open a new drawing. Alright. Then I'm going to ensure that my grids are turned off, which is the same thing that you should do, and we're going to add some layers. So using layer properties, we need to first add a new layer and call it walls. Then walls, hidden, ridge, which is a part of our roof. Alright. Fascia, also a component of the roof, and the rafters. Alright, and our center line. So now when these are created, you just need to change the color from center line going all the way down. We do not change the color for the zero layer, that remains the same. Alright, going back to my drawing so you can see the colors that I have, and you can adjust yours accordingly. So now I'm on my drawing again. I'm going to show you the layers that I have. So for walls, I have 124. You can just type it in and give an OK. Walls hidden is the same thing. Rafters, 231. Ridge, 240. Fascia, 9. And lastly, center line, 214. You can change them to my colors so you can follow along. If it is easy for you to follow along without doing that, by all means, go ahead and do so. Alright, so this is what our finished product should look like, and we're going to start that drawing now. Alright, so I have an empty sheet and I want to start by being on my wall layers. So when I'm on my wall layers, I'm going to use my rectangle command, select, drag. Sorry, let's do that again. Our wall has a measurement of 10,000 by 6,000. Alright, so I'm going to select dimensions, 10,000 for my length and 6,000 for my width. Most of you would have that pop-up that shows your measurement here. When you type in 10,000 and it is here, alright, you're just going to simply select tab and it allows you to change the measurement for here as well. So 10,000, tab, 6,000, enter, and you'll get the same shape. Alright. Now we need to measure to ensure that it is actually 10,000 by 6,000. Good. Now we're going to offset this so it has a thickness, alright? Because our walls have a thickness of 150, we're going to offset by 150 going outward. We do not go inward because we don't want to mess up the measurement that is supposed to be 10,000 by 6,000, and if we go inward, it's going to be less than 10,000 and less than 6,000. Alright. The next thing we need to do is to change to our fascia layer. So the fascia is pretty much a board that is going to be running along the length of the building on both sides. Alright. And this covers the ends of the rafters, and it's what they would use to put the drainage system for the roof, which is our gutters. Alright, now we're going to offset and we're going to click layer, current. So we set our fascia layer as the current layer we're offsetting to. Bear in mind when we offset before, it's offset to the layers for the walls. We don't want that, so we have to ensure that that is done. And our offset for the fascia is 450 millimeters. So we're offsetting our wall 450 millimeters. So this distance now from the wall to the end of the fascia would be like the cool shade that we would go under when the sun is blazing hot or when we seek shelter from the rain. Alright, good. The next thing we're going to do is to offset this fascia going inward 25 millimeters, and we go inward because we don't want to mess up the distance from the wall to the end of the fascia, which would have been our overhang distance. All right, so the thickness of the fascia is 25 millimeters. Now we want to turn on some things in our status bar to ensure that we're following along and we're doing the right things. All right, so first things first, we need to ensure that our selection cycling, all right, is ticked so it appears in the status bar. When it appears in the status bar, we need to ensure that it has the blue highlight to ensure it is on. This allows us to be able to select a specific line that we need, especially if we have lines over lines, and we select the right line and not selected the wrong one if we're going to delete or trim or edit a line. All right. Next thing, we need to ensure that our snaps are on. The endpoint snap, midpoint, intersection, extension, perpendicular, and nears should all be turned on. So you can pause the video and ensure that those are ticked before you continue. We're going to change now to our center lines layer. Use our line command to get a line from the external side of the fascia. Wait until there's a triangle, because this indicates that it's the center of that line, to the center of the fascia on the opposite side. All right, and remember the triangle represents that this is the midpoint of the line. Then we're going to change to our ridge layer. All right, and our ridge is going to be 50 by 200. All right, but our fascia, should have said this before, is 25 by 200 or 250, and these are the measurements that is required for you to know for your course. So get your books and ensure you're writing. Now we're going to offset this ridge 25 millimeter on each side, because on the plan we're going to see the thickness of the ridge, which is 50 millimeters. So when we offset 25 on each side, 25 plus 25 equals 50. All right, we need another center line now, and this center line is going to start in the middle of the top line that represents our ridge, and it's going to touch the middle of the internal side of the fascia. So please pay attention and ensure that you select the right part, because you don't want to have that extra trimming to do when that drawing is done. We're going to change to our rafters layer now, and we're going to offset by 300 millimeter from the center line going to our left. Our rafters are 50 by 150, and this is in accordance with your course requirement. All right, now we need to offset this line to ensure we get that thickness of 50 millimeters, so we use 25 on each side. And the reason why we offset by 300 before going to the left is because from the center of each rafter to the other center of a next rafter, so on center or center to center of each rafter is going to be 600 millimeters. All right, so once we get 300 here and we finish this part, you'll see that the distance is 600. We're going to highlight these lines that represent our rafter, and then we're going to use a command called path array. So we need to select the pull down path array, and it's going to be arrayed along the path of our ridge. Select the ridge, not the center line, the ridge, and that's the ridge that it's sitting on. All right, let me do it on the opposite side. I'm sorry about that. So highlight path array, and if we want it on the left side, we click the right side of the ridge. All right, good. Escape, Now let's select that so we can adjust it. So remember we said that from center to center it's supposed to be 600, so we change between to 600. Now you should see your rafters looking a bit more like they're supposed to be. Alright, then this highlighted region here, or command, we're going to select it so we can change the amount of rafters. And what I usually tell my students is that we need to count the rafters that we need. Alright, so we're counting the rafters on the inside of the plan as well as the one that is closest to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's change that to 10. So now we have our completed array. We're going to explode it so we can individually fix the little mistakes that we're seeing. Alright, so first and foremost, we see where one of the rafters is running on the wall. We do not want that, so we're going to highlight that one. We see where another rafter is on the outside of the roof plan. We don't want that as well, so we highlight that, and we just enter for move, and move it to the external part of the fascia. Alright, now that that is done, we're going to mirror these and put them on the other side of this line. Alright, so when we use our mirror command, we're going to select one part of the line, go down and select another part of the same line and give an enter. And now we can see where both sides look the same. We're going to do the same thing going down, ensuring that we highlight all the rafters and be careful not to highlight the walls. Remember, your selection cycling should be on, and this can assist you so you don't highlight the wrong lines. We're going to use a mirror command, and we're going to use the center line in the middle of the ridge. So select one side of it, select another side of the same line, and then give an enter. Alright, and it looks the same. So now that we're done with our center lines, we can get rid of those and then fix the ends of our roof. So the fascias, as said before, would run on this side and this side. They wouldn't be at the front. So we want to highlight both of these and explode them just like the array so we can individually adjust each line. So we're going to highlight this part of the fascia, the internal part, and the external part, and delete those. Then we're doing the same thing on the other side, internal, external, delete, and then we're going to fix the ends of the roof or the little mistakes that are there. Line, enter, and we're going to draw a line from the fascia to the ridge. Use match properties and match the property of the line to the property of the line that we just drew so they are the same. Alright, and then EX for extend to extend this line. We can just simply highlight this and copy it and move it to the top here over this side and this side. So all we need to do now is to extend this part. Alright, extend, extend, extend. Let's look if all of that is done. Yes. Then now lastly, we're going to use the line command again to draw a line here, match the property of the ridge so that we have our closed ridge right here, and we just simply take this, copy it, CO, enter for copy, and we're pretty much done with our roof. Alright, so in another video I'll show you how to do the hip roof, and then we'll get to labeling and adjusting our lines. But just remember, the ridge is like the backbone of the roof, so that is in the center. Alright, and then we have the rafters that are extended from the ridge going down towards the fascia. Alright, and we always need to have our walls first. See you in another video. If you have any questions, you can leave them below in the comments.
That's it for today's lesson. Don't forget, practice makes perfect. Like, share, and subscribe for more. DTZ Premiere out.